Welcome to Business Insights with Osayi Tres Omokaro, the one and only free business consultancy live radio podcast from Benin to the world. We have only one vision: to ensure that startup founders and MSMEs do business professionally and make positive and profitable impacts. Sit tight and enjoy today's episode.
Hello, listeners at home. You are welcome to yet another episode on our program Business Insights with Osayi Tres Omokaro. Last week, we started a new series that we titled Business Systems and Structure for Growth and Scale. And we took some time to do what we titled Business Diagnosis last week. If you were not here last week, I recommend that you go to our Instagram handle at Treskaro and listen to the episode of last week. Or by this week, that of last week will be uploaded on our YouTube channel for your viewing delight. So today we are continuing on that business systems and structure for growth and scale. But this time around, we're going to answer the question, why systems and structure? But this, I also want to make the phone lines open to us from the beginning. But do well to send more of SMS or WhatsApp messages, because the goal of this program from inception was actually to answer your business challenges and help you navigate them free of charge. Because we understand that business consultancy is not cheap. We understand that a lot of persons have challenges in business and they are seeking for help. We can make it cheaper. None of us could, because the truth is a consultant does a lot to keep himself with relevant information to guide you when you need those guidance. So the best thing we could think of was to own a program like this where you can call in and get those free consultations. So feel free to send your text messages, WhatsApp, or even go ahead and call. We will take your call right at any point of the program. The numbers to call are 070-8544-7462. I'll call it again, 070-8544-7462. The other number you would like to call is 0818-288-4091. I'll call it again, 0818-288-4091. So feel free to call in, feel free to send WhatsApp messages to those numbers, and feel free to send text messages. We'll take your questions right on air. So now we are looking at why systems and structure. But before I dive into that, I want to just ask a few questions. The first question I'm asking you today as an MD is that how much can you make from your business in your absence? Measure that amount versus how much you make when you are around. If there's a discrepancy, it means there's a lot of work you still need to do in building an effective business system and structure. Because the truth is, part of the goal of a system and structure is to ensure that nobody in the organization is so important that without them, the organization cannot run. It's part of the reason why it's difficult to find a company in Nigeria that have existed for over 100 years. And meanwhile, in other clans, you see companies that have been there for 5 generations, 10 generations, moving from one set of persons to another. What makes the difference is what we're talking about today. So that's the first question. Then the second question I want to ask is that the last time a staff traveled, or the last time staff A traveled, how was his or her duties managed? Who took over from him when he wasn't around? Did the outcome of that work come out as what it was when he was around? If the outcome was different, it means that something is still not yet in place. So it's part of the things you need to. These are questions for our managing directors, questions they need to answer. Then the third question I want to ask is, how consistent are your products and services? The products you manufactured, the service you rendered last week, if I order for the same product this week, does it come out the same? If it doesn't, it means something is lagging somewhere. Then, the big one for us, MD, when last did you go on a leave? When last did you go on a leave? Some of us, while we worked for our regular 9 to 5, I remember while I work in the bank, there's hardly a year I will not take my leave. A lot of us are like that. Irrespective of the pressure, the leave, you must take it. But now you are working for yourself. When last were you able to summon the courage to say, I'm taking a leave for the next 1 month? Not because you don't make a lot of money to be able to fund that leave. But the truth is, you know that your business will practically die if you are not there. So these are part of the reasons why, as MDs, we must ensure that we put the necessary systems and structures in place that will enable our companies to run optimally, irrespective of whether we are there or not. So, sorry about that. So I'm going to go into 10 reasons why you need systems and structure in your business. The first thing systems and structure will do for you as a business person is that it helps your efficiency. It helps your efficiency. It streamlines your processes. It streamlines your processes, irrespective of who implements those processes. So your business is no longer resting on the shoulder of the competence of one person. The system will always produce the results. Of course, that's not taking away the fact that someone may be very good on the job and does a more excellent job than another person. But very little impact comes from such when there is a system in place where the structures are well laid out. Any person that sits on that seat will practically come up with the same result because there's an efficient process in place. So the first reason why you need systems and structure in your business is efficiency. The second reason is consistency. Consistency. If you run a manufacturing company in Nigeria and your manufacturing company has things to do with food and all of those things, part of the things that NAFDAC will ask you for is what we call the standard operating procedure, which details the step-by-step that your business processes goes through so that they are certain that every product that comes out of that process is consistent. Because obviously they're going to take one of your products and test it, after which they hope that you go through that same process. So consistency is important. So it's the same for those of us who are in service. When I give a service to a particular customer and another, on the basis of the efficiency of that service and the customer is able to get the necessary results, the customer decides to come back. If that customer comes back and meets somebody else outside of me, that customer should get the same results because we all go through the same process. But if that process is not in place, the outcome of what the customer gets when they meet staff A will be different from what they get when they meet staff B. And that will not speak so well of your business. Then the third reason why you need systems and structure in place is what I'll call scalability. We're talking about systems and structure for business growth and scale. And last week, I defined the difference between growth and scale. So part of what systems and structure help you to achieve so easily is scalability, your ability to scale. So by scalability, what we mean is you are able to reach out to more customers, reach out to new markets without necessarily spending new money. So you don't incur fresh costs to get new markets. I remember sharing last week that for an average brick and mortar bank to open a new branch in a new location, they have to build a new building, hire new staff, have new ATMs, have electricity, have everything created afresh for that location. But for a digital bank to move from Nigeria to Ghana, they may not necessarily even need an office. They just need the necessary license, and the platform is open there, still operating from one place. For instance, a lot of us use most of these social media platforms without these platforms necessarily having an office in our country. So that's what happens. That's scalability. The fourth reason why you need systems and structure in place in your business is what I would call risk mitigation. Like you and I know, business is the accumulation of activity with the hope of building solutions to frictions in the market. As you do that, you're taking a lot of risk. Taking risk with your money, taking risk with your time, taking risk with people's life, because you get to hire people who comes to trust you and put their life on the line, hoping that this business grows and we all are able to remain sustained by the business. So there's a whole lot of risk. And like we know, the factors of production talks about land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur is the risk bearer. So for you to mitigate risk in your business, you want to be able to put systems and structures in place that details how every process happens. When we don't achieve what we are supposed to achieve, how we are supposed to deal with it. There must be a document that details all of this process. Once that document is in place, you are able to mitigate a lot of risk. Another thing that happens when you have systems, and another reason why you need systems and structure in place is clear communication. It makes clear communication possible. A lot of us, part of the reason we're not getting the best from our staff is because they are screwed. They don't really know what they are expected to do. I know as an MD, you say, how can I hired you? I told you what you're supposed to be doing. No, it's not enough to tell them. There should be a job description. There should be a job description. This is not to say that you don't skip over the job description, but when I come to my office and I open my laptop, I open whatever equipment I'm using to work, I should know what the MD is expecting of me, what the organization is expecting of me, what I am expected to deliver today. All of that comes out from your job description. And when you take a job description and deepen it further to standard operating procedure, the person knows the process flow of his work. He doesn't need to talk to anybody. You know, one of the questions we asked when we were doing our business diagnosis last week, we said, how well can your people work without getting to ask you questions? You know, that effective communication, clear communication. The person working knows what he's supposed to be doing. He knows who exactly he's supposed to report to. He knows that the fact that MD is running an open office doesn't mean I can jump off my seat and just go directly to the MD. These things are all laid out and everybody runs with it. Then another thing that happens is that when systems and structure are well laid out, there is increased productivity. Personally, the way it works with me, if I am to do a task and I'm yet to get clarity on the best way to go about it, I could linger on for days and not even start. But once that clarity hits and you say, this is the step, it's easier to start, it's easier to achieve a lot, and your productivity level soars. So clarity of the mind is very, very important. And it comes when the system is laid out, when the structures are well spelled out. And once there is improved communication, increased productivity, what happens is that your customer gets the best, which is what I would call improved customer service. Improved customer service. Today, particularly for us in Nigeria, you go to places, people that you are spending money with practically think that they are helping you. They think that they are helping you. You just see that they are not putting in the effort to even collect your money. They are not putting in the effort to collect your money. One of the things I learned, having worked in a corporate organization and now working for myself, one of the things I know is that no matter how tough it is, make it easy for people to pay you. So never allow a customer come into your space and go back with their money. Never allow it. Some days back, I drove into a gas station. I needed to fill a cooking gas cylinder. And they told me, "Sir, is it cash or ATM?" I said, "Yes, ATM." He said, "Sorry, our POS is not working." I said, "So what's the option? Can I do transfer?" "No, we don't accept." The person talking to me was talking and already going. As in, go. You could see the message, "Go. We don't accept transfer." It was shocking to me. And meanwhile, I remember stating it here that a malam, an uneducated malam selling tomatoes, is accepting people to transfer. And I shared an experience that my wife went and was supposed to spend a certain amount. We ended up spending 300% of that amount with that malam because he accepts transfer. Then someone is well dressed, runs a big office with AC everywhere, and tells you, "I don't accept transfer," possibly because he had an experience 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, that somebody transferred money and network stopped the money from dropping. There are challenges that goes along with business. That something happened shouldn't mean that you now build a process that irritates your customer and you behave like you don't even care. Your capacity to tell a customer no and the customer remains happy is one of the emotional intelligence we all need to learn as a business person. If I manage that process, that customer may still pay or come back tomorrow not angry. "I'm sorry, our POS is not working, and from experience we've had some challenges. The last payments we allowed people to transfer, they didn't come. It was almost causing friction in the office. Sir, please do your best to come tomorrow. I'll personally attend to you. Whether I come tomorrow, I meet you, I don't meet you, but I leave there happy." So improved customer service is one of the things that comes out of a well laid out system and structure. Then another thing that happens is better financial management. One of the questions I asked last week is that if I ask you as the boss, all the monies that have come into your business for the past 3 months, where are they and what were they spent for? Can you account for them? A lot of us, particularly MSMEs, we don't have a good accounting system. It's part of the reasons why a lot of us can't access loans. A lot of us are seeking for funding opportunities we're not getting because we model up all our financial activities because there are no systems, there are no structures. It's possible. I have a YouTube program. I hosted somebody and we were talking, and the person said one of the things you learn from entrepreneurship is discipline. He said because sometimes your company has money but you do not have. That's a possibility. That's because there's a system that manages all our money. So it's possible for the company to have money and you do not have. That's only applicable for someone who have systems and structure in place. Another reason why you need systems and structure in place for your business is that it enables for easy delegation. Easy delegation. Because right now, the job description spells out what everybody should be doing. The organogram is spelled out, you know who reports to who. So when one person is pulling off, the person who reports to that person automatically knows what that person is doing. And can easily be delegated to handle that person's responsibility. Sometimes there's also a system in place that enables everybody to begin to learn what his direct boss is doing on the job, so that when there is any need for someone to be promoted in or out of the organization, someone can fill in that place. I say the word promotion means promotion, meaning for movement. So it means anybody can be promoted within the organization or out of the organization. So when that happens, there should be people to fill in those places. This happens when there is delegation once in a while. Delegation once in a while allows people to learn what the next person is doing. Then the final one I'll talk about is adaptability. Adaptability. One good thing that happens with a very formidable system and structure in place is the fact that it enables you to project and anticipate what could happen and put place. There's what is called business continuity plan. It means in the event of this happening, how do we continue to operate? It will be a dilemma if after the experience we had with COVID-19, any other thing happens again that keeps you from operating as you were operating before, and yet your business still suffer. It means you didn't pick the lessons from COVID. Because for the first time, for some of us in the entire life we have lived, for the first time we saw the entire world on a lockdown and everything shut. But some businesses thrived. Businesses that moved forward at that time were businesses that could easily adapt. So adaptability is one of the byproducts of a good system and structure in place for your business. So what exactly is business system and structure? A business system and structure refers to the processes, the procedures, and the framework that are established within a company or an organization to manage its operation. I call it the processes and the procedures and framework. I said something, nothing sustainable is built without a framework. That's why even when God wanted to create humans, he first created a skeleton and breathed life into us. So that skeleton is the framework. So that business systems and structure are procedures, processes, and framework that are established within an organization to manage its day-to-day operations. Therefore, of course, these systems and structure provide a clear and efficient way of doing things. A clear and efficient way of doing things is spelled out. It's not said, but I told you, no, it's not enough. They said the shortest pen is better than the longest memory. Don't expect the same staff you're talking to who is thinking about how to meet their target to remember everything you're telling them. So it's expected that these things are documented. I was with a client recently who was asking the question, where is this person? And this person said so-and-so person gave him a leave. He said, why? When did that happen? Who authorized it? Yeah, why? Because there were no processes in place for someone to know whether or not he has the capacity to issue a leave. So structure, on the other hand, refers to the way business is organized. What a lot of us we call organogram. This one is reporting to this one is reporting to this one does this, and when it happened, this one does this, and all of that. That is the organogram that's expected to be in every business. In summary, let me summarize all of this before we take our we'll wrap this up. Business systems and structures are critical components of any successful business, as they provide clear frameworks for organizing and managing operations, ensuring that the resources are used efficiently and the business is able to achieve its goals and objectives for the short term and for the long term.